Hello, everybody. Spirit of 420 here because everything I do is so 420, including last night's show, last night's season premiere. Had Rob on, Bong Master Rob, Hot Rob 420 as his handle. It was a blast. We got ripped. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, he hit all 10 bongs, which can't ask for anything more. I smoked everything that I brought with me and wanted to smoke more, but it had been 90 minutes. So it was time to let the man get back to sleep because he was on the East Coast, which means Rob was up till like 11 o'clock last night getting high with me. Which, as he let everybody know today, he had a great time, and he'll be on again soon. Hopefully, I got someone that I am... I want to give him a shout out now. Hopefully he's a new subscriber and he'll end up seeing this at some point. But he is cordially invited. King Lucky 420, and that's exactly his handle too on Twitter, at King Lucky 420. He's got a Twitch, so I want to check that out. And that's twitch.com Lucky 420, all spelled out. Lucky 4 FOUR 20. Give that man a follow and a like on those two platforms and say hello. He will be most likely just communication on Twitter lately, man. Let me just say, take a minute to talk about this because it's horrendous. I hadn't even gotten to hit White Widow yet. Being on Twitter right now is extremely frustrating because the software is picking and choosing who and when they notify of things. It's not what it was. I'm telling you, it's just not what it was. You can't depend on even a DM being seen by somebody right now. You can't depend on a comment on their post being seen. You can literally say their name and it doesn't necessarily get to them. It's insane. So, once we get past the communication issues, I'm sure, I know he's going to help me get in touch. Rob's going to help me get in touch with him. So by all means, I will be having him on soon. Probably have Rob and Lucky on at the same time. King Lucky 420. What else do I want to discuss real quick tonight? So... my son came up to me and he's like, you know, Dad, I can't remember. I think it was Hollow Night. And he goes, you know, Dad, I'm 97% of the way done. I'm 97% done of this game. And I was like, way to go, man. You only got 3% left. And he goes, no, I got 15. I was like, dude, it doesn't work that way. And he's like, yeah, it's 112%. Now, let me just stop here for a minute. We had, a saying back in the day, give it 110. There was even a funny King of the Hill joke about 112% and definitely not 113. But for a video game to be like, it's 112% to complete this game, that is just, I'm sorry. I think that's absurd. You complete 100% of the game when you complete 100%. There is no 100. They're like, well, it's bonuses and other things. I'm like, so then, have it out done naturally. 90% of the game is this, another 10% is this, whatever. I just think that's funny. That just goes to show you, because that's not what the concept of 100% is. That's why we don't have, what's the word? We don't have icons for 110, 120, and so on and so forth, right? And when you're talking about completing a game, I'm sorry, but I think it's funny that they're going to tell you you got to get to 112% to complete the game. All right, that's crazy absurd. By the way, tonight this is I'm trying to remember to tell everybody this is some Cuban Links. There you go, Cuban Links Shatter. Then I got and the Mary Jane, the bowl, and the joints are a mix of Biochem, and Humdinger. Humdinger is probably at around 29, 30, 30% THC. So it's mixing it with the Biochem, which is around 25. So it's a nice mix. Go ahead and turn the AC off. Oh, you know what? And I meant to start doing this and I forgot to do it last night, but let's put on some background music. Let that play so it has just a little bit more ambiance and mood to it. Have multi investigations to do tonight, simply because I had a break and ended up watching a few different things. Went to the theaters for a few films, but also watch some stuff here. And I have some more. I'm actually going to do a whole Star Wars Disney fuck Disney special. That'll be coming up in the future. By the way, just a few announcements. I will probably be starting a new book here soon, a new existential reading. Probably going to do, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll save it. It'll be a surprise. Just have to wait and see what it is. But it'll be good. It'll be heartwarming and heartfelt and have some good messages, and we'll chat about it and talk about it and so on and so forth. So I'm going to be trying, for those of you who are on Twitch and the ones that I'm going to try to start, what's the word I'm looking for? Attracting from Twitch. Hopefully by the end of this season, I'm going to have a game schedule in, but I've got to get a job first. That is obviously much more important to me. And it's really just what I mean by that is once I have the job, then I can build the schedules around that so that the two don't interfere with one another. But I've got an Xbox Series X, and I know that my one son, my oldest of the twins, who's still with us, he would absolutely be upset if he thought that I was wasting that technology. And I've been gaming since I was four. And I'm trying to remember, I'm pretty sure it was Pong was the first thing that I played, but the first game system we got in our house was Atari 2600, the original Atari. And my buddy across the street, I was jealous because he had Odyssey. For those of you who don't know, that those were the two game systems. The Odyssey was a little more advanced and had a few cooler features, but it was a little more expensive. So most of the people in my neighborhood didn't have it. They had the Atari. But the benefit of having the Atari 2600 over the Odyssey was the fact that most people did have it, so you could game swap, game trade, all that kind of stuff, and it was pretty cool. Those were the days. I miss them. I won't lie. You know, it was kind of cool when you could do things like that. Now everything's digital, so there's no more really trade. There's still some trading in going on, but I think, like, you know, a lot of people have gone to almost exclusively getting the digital copies just because you usually get it quicker, and it doesn't fuck up. You know, my problem with the my biggest problem with the what's the word? The discs, cartridges, any of that hardware, if you will, is that, you know, one scratch or one thing, you can fuck them up. If you have a digital copy, the worst thing you do is have to uninstall, re-download, install, boom, you're good to go. So that's one of the biggest advantages, in the sense that you can't do it, but you can't trade. It would be really cool if we found a way to where if I had a digital copy and you had a digital copy, we could give up the rights to those digital copies and trade them. There's $1 million idea for somebody. I just don't want to get into the logistics of being the one having to talk to all those game companies. But you should be able to do that. That would be badass. So just a thought for all you gamers out there, you know. Yeah, holy cows, right. Let's start off with the first movie, right? 64 or 65. Sorry, all of a sudden the Beatles song kind of shot into my head, and I couldn't help but, think 64. 65, Adam Driver and what was the young lady's name? Ariana Greenblatt, I believe is her name. There was a couple other people, but they really had very minimal. It was just the two of them. Quick premise of this, and they don't give it away. It's on the synopsis, right? This takes place 65 million years ago when the dinosaurs roamed and a visitor from another world land here. Now, the one thing they benefit that they give you is that they don't worry about them speaking in another language the whole time with subtitles. Simply put, they do speak English. You just assume it's a different language because there's also other languages. Language is a part of the movie, but you know that they're not speaking English, right? 65 million years ago. And it's what would happen if you crash landed here and had to deal with the dinosaurs. So the first thing I'll say, because we have Jurassic crap that's been out, I don't know, for the last umpteen years, 20 some odd, going on 30, over 30 years. I think the first one was 91, maybe 92 or 93. Either way, even if it was 93, we're still talking 30 years ago. First Jurassic Park and the third one were great. The first Jurassic World was decent. I thought they were going to go with it, but then they dropped the ball on 2, just like they did on the second one, and then they really fumbled it on 3. It was just absolutely horrible. I already did an investigation of that movie a few seasons ago. It was pathetic, right? And there's been many attempts by low-ranking places and production houses to do some dinosaur movies, and they have not to date done very well, right? It's been a consistent just cheese. So anywho, this had a lot up against it, right? Because it's a far-fetched idea, number one. Number two, it involves dinosaurs, and you either do that well or you don't. Well, they really did it well. I have to say I was thoroughly surprised. And what I mean by that is I actually had, what's the word? I had it up, and I thought that I kept it up. Oh, I put it on the wrong thing. So either way, they had a lot to live up to, and they did right away because it was dinosaurs. And right away, I was actually, the jump scares were worthy. To me, that kind of a movie has to have jump scares, right? Otherwise, what are you going to see it for? And relatively speaking, they kept it realistic. I don't want to give it away, but the ending, I don't want to use the word cliche, but it was some real nifty coincidences that happened at the end, and that's all I'll say. I don't want to give away any of the big factors of the movie. I don't like to do that. I think that's horrible. So no spoilers. I will tell you that, again, the only thing that I saw in it was there was a lot of coincidences, and I don't believe in coincidences anyway. So, I mean, I guess if you wrote like that, and I've lived my life lately, and I still believe that 100% because life continues to prove to me that there are no coincidences, right? So in that sense, I kind of had to let it go, but the acting was good from both the main two folks. The direction was good. It was written, by the way, the two folks that wrote and directed it were two of the writers, and I don't know if they were, because I thought John was also one of the writers. Maybe he just directed it, but I could have sworn he was one of the writers. But I know for a fact both of these guys worked on A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2. And those were good. So I was, giving it the benefit of the doubt. in regard to they had already written some good stuff. But you can't really rely a whole lot on, if you've seen those movies, there's a lot relied on not seeing what was out there. And they still did that. They still did a good job, but obviously they didn't. You can't do that to the same degree when you're dealing with dinosaurs, right? And they're everywhere. You're at a time when there are all kinds of dinosaurs everywhere, particularly big ass apex predators, right? That love meat. And we're meat, right? Good Zathura callback there. So just real quick before I give you my ratings, IMDb gives it a 5.7. Rotten Tomatoes says 35% fresh. Metacritic gave it 40%. However, 79% of Google users did like it, and I thought it was decent. And considering its topic matter, and by the way, I did really like. I mean, this was other technology, so it was all new technology, and I thought that part was really well written. I like what they came up with in regards to the tech that he had, from his planet and all that. So personally, I mean, I give it right skating by at a 70, but because you have to see it in the theaters. It's worthy of seeing it on the big screen. You don't want to watch this at home in your living room. This is actually one to get out there in the movies and see. Truly, it was worthy. It wasn't the best movie in the world, but when you're talking about sitting for a couple hours, it was definitely worthy, and was a popcorn type movie. I will tell you that too. So don't forget the popcorn. Next on the agenda. Oh, by the way, before I go on to the next movie, I just want to say this. Out of the blue today, a couple things happened. One, it was really nice. Somebody reached out and asked me if I would consider doing some promos for them, and I'm going to talk to them more about that. So that was kind of cool. But more importantly, what was interesting, and I can't find out, so I'll tell you the reason I'm saying this is because I've had my frustrations with it, right, all day. But apparently, my son has some kind of universal life policy. And of course, they won't give me the information. I've got to do a form. I've got to send them a death certificate, which just in and of itself really sucks. So I have no idea, what it's for, or who the beneficiary is. I'm assuming it's either myself or his twin brother, because that would just be, and I have some vague memory of him saying something about it, but I can't remember, because that was, I think, policy. The other one I thought was a policy through work. And this is universal, which means it's most likely it's a policy. And I guess he could have gotten it through work and then kept it. Maybe that's what it was. Either way, it's not about how much it is. It's about whatever he did. It's really cool that this 22-year-old had the foresight to even get anything or keep anything going. And I had to share this with you because if you remember, there's a huge amount of 22s in regards to his passing. Just to give you the top few, he was 22 years old. It happened on October 22nd, and it was in the year 2022. His bike was 22 years old because it was 2000, so the same age as him. There are so many more. His lot number for the bike, I can't even begin to tell you all of them. I would tell you some, but I don't want to, identification numbers ending in 22. Today we got this, and of course his monthly payment, and he's young, so it would be low, but his monthly payment's $22 even flat. I was like, are you kidding me? So to me, it's yet another sign. I'll have to go through a few weeks of bullshit to find out exactly what it is, but it just continues to show me how ahead of the game my son was. Right. So moving on. Next movie. Oh my gosh. Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear. Yeah, Cocaine Bear was, oh my God, I was laughing my freaking ass off. First of all, homage to the late Ray Liotta. This was, I don't know if it's the last thing that's going to come out with him, but it's definitely one of the last ones. Which it was awesome to see him. It was really cool because Elizabeth Banks directed this. And I'll say this, so I'm not going to give anything away except for that it is a must-see. If you haven't gotten to see it, watch it, and most likely, most theaters aren't playing anymore. Try to find it in a theater if you can. This one is awesome, and it's definitely for the theater, definitely full of jump scares, but it's fucking hysterical. The humor in it, first of all, the little kid that is looking for his friend, and I don't want to give away too much. You'll know when you see who I'm talking about, but the young boy who is hanging out with the young girl at the beginning that gets separated, and he's looking for her, that kid is hysterical. And the young girl, the daughter of Hera Russell, I think the girl's name was, okay, so here's her name, Brooklynn Prince. Is that right? Brooklynn Prince. No offense, she's a young actress. She's got some more growing to do. That's all I'm going to say. But the young fella that was in it, his name is Christian Convery, Convery. Convery, and all these credits are in the description. That kid had timing. He was hysterical. He was absolutely spot on, and it was more of him anyway. There was a reason that they had it cast that way, right? It also has Ice Cube's son in it, O'Shea Jackson Jr., who was absolutely hysterical. Some of the other ones I didn't really know, but they did a great job. I thought everybody did a great job. It was funny from beginning to end. Funny enough, I went with somebody who we asked her at the end. We were like, "So what'd you think?" I don't like horror. We were like, "Really, you didn't like it?" And don't get me wrong. I mean, there are some horrific scenes in this film, absolutely horrific. But could you expect anything else going to a movie called Cocaine Bear and the trailers that we're seeing? Like, the trailers showed limbs falling, right? I mean, and I'm not giving anything away. Watch the trailer. Regardless, I thought it was funny. I felt bad. I was like, damn, I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it, because I laughed my ass off and I wanted to go watch it again. But funny enough, it was the final showing of it. Which reminds me, I am going to go see Everything Everywhere All at Once again. I'm taking my mom to see it. She's got to see it. The woman hasn't seen it yet, and I know that she would absolutely love it. So, gotta get her in to see that before it's gone. And they actually just brought it back, so it's only playing for a limited time. But back to Cocaine Bear. It was hysterical. It was great writing. It was great direction. It was fucking funny as hell. It had great jump scares. Absolute must see. I don't care if you see it in the theater or not. It would be great if you can see it in the theater. It's definitely better and worthy there. However, watching it anywhere with a group of friends stoned as hell is going to be just a great time, period. Which reminds me, time to smoke some more of this bowl. And now it's time to get this joint going. I hope all y'all are having a wonderful beginning to your week already. Tuesday, I had a pretty decent day. We'll share with you that I got a second interview for a job, so I'm fingers crossed on that. It would be nice to see something come up there, not come there, excuse me. Pardon my phrasing. Third film was actually a series. It was a docu-series, 3-part series. It's about 3 hours long, and that's why they broke it up at all. Otherwise, they probably just could have done it as one documentary, if you will. But MH370, the plane that disappeared. So, funny enough, I knew nothing about this film, or this disappearance, excuse me. I knew nothing about this plane before I saw the trailer on Netflix. There's only in the last probably 3 or 4 years have I started really keeping up with the news, particularly world news in general, and just keeping a track of that. So I had not seen, this happened back in 2014, I believe. And I knew nothing about it. It also was a Malaysian flight, going from wherever to wherever over in the Pacific, I think they were going to Vietnam. I'm not going to sit and worry about that. Those aren't the details. And that's not what the investigation that I'm giving you is about. Watch the fucking documentary. It is worthy. There was essentially just under 300 people with crew as well as passengers, right? So passengers plus crew, I think it was 289. They're still missing, still gone. Right? They still don't know. And I don't want to give away anything to it because, again, this one is actually worthy of watching. It's on Netflix. It's free. It just came out. I shouldn't say it's free. You got to have the subscription. But it is highly worth the watch. It's going to be one too. I'll tell you that you don't want to watch it. I will also say this: if you have this one hit home, I mean, a lot of things have their parallels, but I can't deny this one at all because there is so much mystery around my son. I mean, I have a long way to go with that, and I'll probably talk about it many times. It's not a depressing thing for me in that sense. It's just part of what I will probably do because it is a mystery unto itself. So when I watch something like this where people disappeared and they don't understand where they went and all this, and in this day and age, like, that's insane to me. The fact that my son died on a major road in a major city in this day and age and there was no video of it was extremely odd to me. Right? That right there, just to give you an idea of one of the parallels. And I'm not going to go off on it, but I will say this: for them to lose a plane, even anytime in the last 15 years, is incredibly insane considering GPS and everything else. It's just crazy. The first thing, before I even watched the documentary, I'm like, that's purposeful. That didn't just happen. Somebody took them offline, took them out in some regard, right? But that one, oh, you know what? I never did give Cocaine Bear. Sorry. Cocaine Bear's an 80. I do apologize. I'm going to backstep. I know that's horrible, but, it's a live show and you do what you do. So Cocaine Bear gets a 6.1 on IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 68%. Metacritic gives it 54%. 83% of Google users liked it. I'm giving it a solid 80. I give my own investigations, and that it is what it is. That movie was fucking hysterical. It was as gory as it needed to be, and the fact that it is exactly, quite frankly, what it's supposed to be. So what are you supposed to do? Now, MH370, the plane that disappeared, as a docuseries, that's an absolute must-watch. I will tell you my rating first before I tell you what the world gave it. But I found it quite interesting, quite riveting, and it hit home with parallels for me. So, quite frankly, I give that one, actually, probably out of the three, it's the highest score. It's an 85. It was really, really good in my opinion. Now, IMDb gives it 6. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 86%. Google, 66% of Google users liked it. So obviously it's not necessarily getting the rave reviews, but I mean, Rotten Tomatoes also gave it an 86. So, I mean, that's not too terribly bad. I think you have to watch it and decide for yourself. Especially if you have Netflix, you're only talking about 3 hours, but I don't see, quite frankly, I can't see how somebody could watch that and not find it interesting. I will say this: I don't like a lot of these documentaries. I do have one problem with. As a documentary, they have great material, but sometimes they don't know how to present it all that well. And there was one guy that they talked to quite often that in particular didn't like. He's the only reason that I didn't give it an even higher score. But the fact is, the documentary is not about that guy. It's about this missing plane and what happened. He's just one of the main players in the investigation that has gone on for the last, 10 years or so. And these folks are still, by the way, it's kind of funny because the investigation over there is stopped. This is not a spoiler. Most people probably already know this already, but in Malaysia it stopped, but France it never will. I thought that was it. I learned that from the documentary. In regards to their law, if it's unsolved, then the case remains open, period. So that's pretty interesting. All right. I will be back. Today is Tuesday, so back on Thursday and then back again on Saturday. I'm hoping to get a guest. I've put a few feelers out there. I'm hoping to have a smoke sesh on Saturday. That would be real nice. I even have a couple people already that are said, have shown some interest, so we'll see what happens. Either way, I will be here Thursday and then back again Saturday. Don't know what those shows will be, but I will be posting them soon. So just have to wait and see what they are. I love all you guys. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful hump day tomorrow. And the week goes well. I will see you Thursday. Remember that you are important. You are an individual. That's what makes you special, that nobody else is like you. So nobody else can bring to the world what you bring to it. Remember that. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on Thursday. Peace. Got to get to the right button. Peace again.
I switch hit, I'm a strange fuck. Consist on ain't something I could say well. Fill my change into the wishing for a change well. Wish a day a swell life for the next come. And when the next come, pretend that it's the best one. Like I ain't even gonna try and say that to the next one.